What's up? My name is Kris Krohn. This is my commercial building. I use it as an event center. I use it as an office. Opening an event center right before the pandemic, not too smart. But who could have seen that coming? I've recovered, but there's a lot of commercial buildings that have not. And now we got people thinking like, wait a sec, empty strip malls. What if we turn that into residential housing? Guys, the ideas are crazy, but could solve problems and could tank the market. Why are they thinking this way? Right now, commercial real estate is failing, right? It means you have monster-sized good deals in the commercial space, and if you need commercial, holy cow, is now a good time to actually buy. The value of distressed U.S. commercial real estate neared $80 billion in the third quarter. That's the highest we've seen in a decade, which means since 2010, when things were really bad, it's still just getting worse. So on top of that, we've got U.S. commercial property values that fell by 9% through September. That means that 1 out of every 2 normal transactions did not take place. So why is this even happening? Like, why is commercial going through such a struggle? I mean, I know we're missing all these homes in single family, but we have an excess of space in commercial and now values have dropped 9%. Well, I want you to just remember what happened a few years ago. We went through this pandemic, and one of the net results out of that was a bunch of companies realized it's like, shoot, our expenses are high for things like office space, and people really proved to us that they didn't need an office to work in to actually be productive. We've gotten so used to Zoom, we've gotten so used to the VR, the virtual world where we're connecting, that there's just a lot of offices that are now going vacant, they're going empty, and businesses have really learned a different way. I was super skeptical when the pandemic came. I'm like, oh, people are always gonna want probably commercial. A year later, I changed my tune. The majority of my team, they're remote. They actually don't work in any kind of office or cubicle. And while I still have an office, I'm amazed that a group of people that are remote are highly capable. You get the right management style in place, you get the right compensation in place. I'm just telling you right now, they're just as capable, sometimes even more so with added flexibility in their life to be able to crush it working from home. That's what's putting a huge strain on commercial right now. Real estate, once again, it's breaking records across the board. I mean, normally I'm playing the single family game because every day I buy a home. And in that one, I track what's happening very carefully. But for commercial to break these kind of records, it's a big deal. Converting just 10% of America's vacant strip malls into housing could create more than 700,000 new homes, according to housing nonprofit enterprise community partners. And when you think about the millions of homes that we're missing, like 700,000 would definitely take a dent out. Someone does have to kind of solve that commercial problem, but did anyone ever think that commercial, instead of like, well, it's gonna be a restaurant or it's gonna be a strip mall or this business, did anyone ever think that it would just go back to residential to solve the residential crisis? Like, if 10% of our vacant strip malls can produce 700,000 doors for people to live in, then it does kind of beg the question, what are we really missing in real estate? Now, there's a lot of numbers floating around. I've heard the number as high as 6.5 million homes. Freddie has a little bit more of a conservative number. They're basically saying that our housing shortage is 3.8 million homes. So I'm like, okay, if 10% of strip malls can solve for 700,000 homes, then if we need truly 3.8 million, then basically, shoot, 50% of empty strip malls, if they converted into residential, would actually solve the housing crisis. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but it does make me curious, and it makes me wonder, would a home in a strip mall be valued higher or lower than a normal house? Like, if a normal house is $150 a foot, in a strip mall, is it like, oh, the structure was here, we just had to put up some walls and whatnot, and bottom line is, now it's actually just like 70,000 a foot. I'm like, geez, that's like going townhome, condo, less. That would be very, very interesting to look at that kind of game. If they go the opposite direction though, I'm not sure I like it as much. The idea of, can you imagine like the massive parking out there for your house? Sorry, so this is kind of funny. The shortage, bottom line though, is driving home prices up, right? We're seeing that happen in the residential space, and someone out there is getting really creative saying, there's gotta be another way. We're never gonna catch up to this. It's gonna take a decade, maybe longer, before we make up for the missing housing. As of the second quarter of 2023, the median home price in the US was $416,000, and home builders haven't recovered since the Great Depression. I mean, check out this graph right here. You've got single family. Look at what happened in 2008. Boom, look at that monster dip. Now, obviously the blue line, single family, the dip was huge. We basically built nothing, and then when we climbed back out of it, it's what led to the price of real estate going back up. Commercial, on the other hand, has looked quite a bit more steady if you look at it. And right now it's kind of flatlined while single family is actually starting to rise. And it's not just flatlined. You look at that last year, that is that 9% decrease in that final bump that you see there in 2020 to where we're at today. And it basically means, hey, if we don't have enough single family homes, just dip into commercial. Could that work? It potentially could mean actually a really big opportunity, right? With 3.8 million homes missing, this could result in home prices being driven down as housing availability surges. So this could actually ruin the market, or some might say actually fix the market when it comes to affordability. If it's like flood the market with all these strip malls being converted, if investors see that as the opportunity, they're like, oh, shoot, it's cheaper, it's better, it's whatever. Well, then what might actually happen is it resolves the crisis, and then it could then lead to the big bust. And a lot of people want to know, when is the housing market when is the bubble going to burst? I'm like, it ain't going to burst while you're missing 3.8 million homes. But if you solve that really fast with all of that empty strip mall space, then maybe that bubble is not 10 or 20 years away. Maybe it's just years. By the way, with all this real estate talk, if you're like, shoot, if there's good deals, how do I get in the game? I've got people that partner with me all the time. I have nearly 1,000 partners. They usually use their 401ks or IRAs or equity in their home to partner with me. I do 100% of the work. We split the profits. And I'm telling you, it's not a little bit of money. In fact, it will kick the trash out of your 401k 27-1, which means that you could actually have a real retirement. If that interests you, click the link below. Let me show you. Good deals will also present themselves as many people may be motivated to sell their homes if prices begin to shoot down. And that is kind of the big concern right now is this going to be a space that is going to lower prices, or is this going to be a space that increases? Because strip malls taken out of it. My prediction, once rates start dropping this next year, and by the way, last week they dropped to 0.5%, it started moving the market. You drop it another 1.5% and beyond, like a lot of the mortgage companies are actually, that's how they're reading the tea leaves on the Fed. And the bottom line is you're going to see the price of real estate skyrocket because we are missing so many homes, which means that there's competition. People are bidding for them. You solve it with strip malls, the opposite could technically occur. So here's what I want you to know. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. Here's what I do know. I keep my eye on the entire single family market, and I get my hands on the very best deals. Like when I invest in real estate, I'm typically getting an ROI of 25%, but I'm getting closer to mid-30s, like 30, 32, 34, 35% annual ROI. And that means that $50,000 that's sitting in your 401k 20 years later could literally turn into $17 million. Like that's a staggering and astounding amount of money, which is why I've got people all over the country that actually partner with me. If you don't know this, you can click the link below, literally learn about partnering with me, and basically look at the deals that I'm finding. And I'm telling you right now, if any of this turns into really good deal flow and I decide to get involved, I'm gonna do a lot of volume. But if I also find that it's stupid, I'm gonna be the first to let you know that as well. Either way, if you wanna secure your financial future, if you wanna secure retirement, more importantly, if you wanna be rich, like I would like to have millions of dollars when I retire. And if 90% of all millionaires do it in real estate, pause. Click the link below in the description. It's gonna take you to a page where you learn all about partnering with me. And here's what you're gonna find. Get with me and let me give you a game plan for free. Let me put myself in your shoes. Let me evaluate your 401k, your IRA, equity in your home savings, or any other assets and say, well, if you did this choice or this choice or this choice, here's what could happen with time. And it's one of the best ways to get a multimillionaire's perspective, kind of help you understand your situation from a different point of view. If that's valuable to you, click the link below. Let me give you that gift for free. You might like to know what I personally invest in. Kris, is it always commercial? Is it residential? How do you actually evaluate to know whether it's a good deal or not? That's probably the number one question that I get from those that want to get in the investing game is, how do you know if it's a good deal? Click right here and I'm going to show you exactly how to know.